In today's video, I want to have a look at the recent relationship between the US dollar and the Colombian peso. I've done some research and I think the reasons for it are very interesting. My name is William Hutchison. I'm the owner of Armenia, Colombia Realty for expats in Armenia, Colombia. We've also just announced the formation of a sister company, Salento Colombia Realty. For those of you who might want a little cooler climate, Salento is a small Colombian town, heavy on tourism, a lot of people there on the weekends. Days there are mid 70s, and at night it might drop into the low to mid 50s. The references I'm using for this video are the closing rates with xe.com, the daily closing rates, and the G7 currencies supplemented by the Swiss franc and the Australian dollar. The G7 economies are in the top 10 in the world. The other three, China, Brazil, and India, I've excluded. China is well known as a currency manipulator, so their numbers would be suspect. And likewise for India and Brazil, although I don't think they manipulate currencies, I'm not too confident in the numbers that they would put out. I have converted the numbers to percentages. They're rounded, but they're close enough for the purposes of this video. I've started with the high that the peso reached before it started its descent. And that happened on May the 19th, 60 some days ago. And at that time, on May the 19th, the closing rate was 45.41. Yesterday, it closed at 39.75. Comparing the US dollar to the other six currencies in the G7 group, obviously the US dollar wouldn't be compared to itself. So we have 8 comparisons. Against the French franc, it's down 4.7%. Against the pound, it's down 4.1%. Against the euro, it's down 4.0%. Against the Australian dollar, it's 2.7%. And against the Swiss franc, it's down 4.7%. Italy also operates on the euro, so it would be in the German number of down 4.0. The anomaly here is Canada. It's down 11.2. I think that's a reflection of the improvement maybe in the Canadian economy. I've thrown that one out. So I think what we can do is basically use 4% as US dollar weakness against the benchmark G7 economies, along with the Australian dollar and the Swiss franc. Now, what's happened with the Colombian peso against these same currencies? And it's really interesting. Against the French franc, the peso has strengthened 11%. Against the pound, 11%. Against the euro, 11%. Against the Canadian dollar, 11%. Against the Australian dollar, 11%. And against the Swiss franc, 11%. I've thrown out the Japanese yen because it has strengthened 18% against the yen. But the yen numbers are so small, 33 yen and 28 yen, that a difference of 1 or 2 yen makes a huge difference in the percentage. So every one of the currencies in the G7, again, plus the American dollar and the Swiss franc, the Colombian peso has strengthened 11%. So we have 4% dollar weakness, 11% Colombian strength. So one might say the Colombian peso has strengthened 15% against the American dollar. Well, guess what? It strengthened 14%. and that's close enough for our comparison. So of the strengthening in the peso, 11% is directly attributable to the peso and only 4% to the dollar. The theory that the American dollar has crashed goes completely out the window. For others commenting here about a dollar crash, you got to do your research, folks, because it's absolutely incorrect. It's peso strengthening. I don't know why. I couldn't find any comments from economists to say why. Obviously, Colombia is not an economy that's followed by many. I have my own ideas about why, but they might be totally incorrect too. This is William Hutchison, Armenia Colombia Realty for expats in Armenia, Colombia, calling it a video. I live in paradise. You can too.